Hi there. The poems this past week have largely been influenced by Isaiah 40 and the ministry of John the Baptist. And in today's piece, we turn to a poem or a reflection by someone who stands very firmly in that tradition, both in terms of their ministry, but also their death. It's a piece by Archbishop Oscar Romero entitled "The God We Hardly Knew." I'm not sure whether he wrote it originally as a poem or not, but it has come down to us in that format. I'm not exactly sure of the origins of it, so I do hope that I'm attributing it correctly. But certainly the words of it reflect Romero's ministry. He was originally appointed Archbishop of San Salvador in February 1977, and actually initially it was to the disappointment of many of the more progressive priests in the diocese, who feared that his to then conservative reputation would negatively impact on their ministry with the poor. But partly as a result of the assassination of a close friend the following month, Romero started to speak out against the endemic poverty in the area, social injustice, the commonplace assassinations and torture of political opponents. And then when in 1979 a right-wing junta came to power, Romero began an international campaign against their civil rights abuses, which was not well received either at home or with other international governments, including the American government at the time, or indeed by the church authorities in the Vatican. On March the 23rd, 1980, he preached a sermon where he called on Salvadorian soldiers as Christians to obey God's higher order, to stop carrying out the government's repression and violations of basic human rights. The next evening, as he was celebrating Mass at a small chapel in the Hospital of the Divine Providence, a church-run hospital for oncology and palliative care, as he finished the sermon and stepped towards the altar to preside at the Eucharist, a gunman stepped into the doorway of the chapel and fired 1 or 2 rounds, which struck Romero in the heart, and he died. The gunman ran away, and no one has ever been convicted of the killing. But this is the poem that I want to share. "The God We Hardly Knew" by Oscar Romero. No one can celebrate a genuine Christmas without being truly poor. The self-sufficient, the proud, those who, because they have everything, look down on others, those who have no need even of God, for them there will be no Christmas. Only the poor, the hungry, those who need someone to come on their behalf will have that someone. That someone is God, Emmanuel, God with us. Without poverty of spirit, there can be no abundance of God.